Welcome to another episode of AV Career Masterminds. We have a special one for you today. As you can see with me, or you will hear with me, I have Erica, who is the host of Women in AV. Hi, Erica.
Hey, Jennifer.
So today on our episode, we've actually got two kind of crossover event going on. We are talking to our new friend, Jasmine.
Jasmine, thank you so much for sharing your story on this episode. We are about to dive in here. I am just curious to jump in. How did you even learn about AV?
So I was very lucky that my dad and my stepmom are both in the AV industry. They are AV veterans. They've been in the industry for 25, 30 years, both of them. My dad warned me not to get into AV, but I did it anyway. Here I am with YCD. I started back in July, and despite all of his warnings, it's been going pretty well. I've had a pretty strong start.
So Jasmine, from what I talk to people about when they're getting into the industry, one thing is degrees, right? So depending on your job in the industry, is a bachelor's degree required? Is a bachelor's degree not required? I'm on the fence with that because I think there's a lot of young individuals coming in, one that can't afford college, can't go to college, don't have the means to be able to do it. So they go into the trades and like this kind of becoming a trade. But your degree is in, so for everybody that doesn't tell us about your degree.
My degree is in psychology. I minored in criminal justice, and I know it's very, very weird, very niche.
That's cool.
I was originally going to be a forensic psychologist, and then my next plan was to be an industrial organizational psychologist and get my PhD. That was always my plan. Obviously, I did not go on to get my PhD. I went straight into sales right when I got out of college. I was ready to start my career, ready to get out into corporate and the workforce. So psychology kind of siloed me over to sales, I feel like. I didn't have an engineering degree. I didn't have any kind of tech experience. So I feel like that kind of put me where I am now.
So having that psychology degree and working in sales, and especially with YCD being a content and kind of digital signage, selling that software to be able to do the content and the signage, how do you feel your degree has helped you?
I feel like my degree has helped me in the way of knowing how to communicate with people, knowing what people are motivated by, especially in a sales cycle, what motivates people to have outreach and have conversations with other people. Oh, it sounds so bad, but the way to have conversations so that people like you and they want to continue to talk to you, the importance of listening, and you know how sales is. You don't want to say you're manipulating a situation, but sometimes you're manipulating a situation in sales, and that's just how it is. So I do think that my degree has helped me a lot in that way, especially going to college in general teaches you a lot about life and getting along with diverse groups of people and being involved in all of these different aspects and time management and just maturing in a way. So especially when you're so young, right, you're going to college and you go straight into corporate. I feel like I learned a lot of valuable life skills that have transferred over into my career.
So then companies that I've worked for in the past, we always talk about in a sales position and even with I've worked at several manufacturers, and we talk about the personas. So everybody gets a name, the Jennifer is this persona, and the Erica is this persona. So have you thought about that when you're talking to people and your customers, meaning, Jennifer's the CEO and they're interested in this. Erica is going to be the person that's actually creating the content and they're interested in this. So even though the personas might be a little bit different than potentially what you learned in college, are you looking at that and are you utilizing that in your day-to-day?
Absolutely. So for your C-suites with your CEO, they're worried about ROI, risk. Your CRO is especially worried about ROI. Your CMO is worried about retention, attribution. Your end user is worried about the amount of time that they're spending, how it's going to make their life easier, how it's going to make their job better. And your directors are worried about how to hit a quota, typically, right? So you definitely have to think about that, and you definitely have to strategize and communicate correctly with your end user or with your persona that you're talking to. It plays a lot into how I talk to everybody in every conversation, where everything's geared towards. But you learn that in sales, you learn that in school, you learn that all over. So it's super important to apply.
So then talking to younger adults, right? The young professional, whether they're going to be students graduating high school and trying to decide what they want to do when they grow up, or even those younger professionals coming into a industry, doesn't even matter. I mean, it could be your friends, right? How do you tell them what you do?
How do I tell them what I do?
Yes. How do you explain that?
When I tell people specifically what I do in my industry, I say I work in digital signage software, nobody understands what that is. They all think that I sell DocuSign or e-signature software. Nobody understands. So I say, oh, all the billboards on Times Square, that's what I sell. But when I talk to them about my day-to-day activities, I really say I make friends all day long, and I talk to people all day long, and I'm just meeting new people. That's really all I do. And I sell software. That's what I do. Of course, I mean, that's the main basis of the job. But to tell somebody about it who's coming into it and is considering sales, especially, I'm like, if you want to be social, you want to meet people, you want to chat, go into sales. That's what I do all day long. I just make friends. That's how I talk about it pretty much.
Erica and I know, being in the industry for a long time, for the longest time, I worked at Smart Technologies. And even prior to that, the integrator I worked for, I sold a lot of smart technologies. Everybody in my family thought I sold TVs. That was the easiest way for me to describe.
I worked for a projector manufacturer first, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's TVs. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Sure.
No, my best friend for the longest time, she's like, I thought you were selling e-signature software. I was like, we talk every day. No.
It's definitely, it's not as easy saying I'm a doctor or I'm an attorney or, I'm a fireman. It's definitely an industry that takes a little bit more explaining. And it's very visual.
Yes,
like if you can give somebody the visual aspect of it, then it kind of, that light bulb kind of clicks.
Exactly. That's why I always bring up the Times Square example, especially because even my dad's been in the industry for forever. When my dad used to talk to me about what he did when I was a kid, I had no idea. It never clicked until I was truly in the industry. So I just remember that he's audio visual integration services. Had no idea what it meant, but I would just regurgitate that because you don't know unless you're really in the industry and you see how everybody interacts and how important an integrator is and how important the software is and how they're all independent, working together on one beautiful project. But if you're not in the industry, it doesn't make sense to you. It really doesn't.
And it's so much about the experience, and there's so many tiny facets to AV that really make a full holistic experience that people don't even think about.
No, they don't.
Most recently, that manifested in my community. They're like working on building out a new office, and they're like, oh, the AV my husband's also in the industry. The AV people can help us figure out how to hide these cables. Like cable management is how this manifested.
Yeah.
Which is very important.
It is.
No, it is. It is. And now that I'm in the industry and I'm driving around and I see a digital billboard that has a bunch of pixels out, I'm like, oh, look at that. I'm like, I would never pay attention to this ever before. But now I'm so honed in on it. It's kind of sad sometimes, but it's great.
A friend of mine is a coach and coaches football. And I say, can you watch a game? Like, can you sit and watch a football game on TV and fully enjoy it? And all the time, the answer is no. And it is the same thing. Like I live in South Florida. I drove past the Panthers stadium. They won the Stanley Cup. 6 months into after they won their board that's outside right by the highway, I'm like, God, when are they going to fix this? It has been like this. They won the Stanley Cup. Don't they have somebody? And then they finally fixed it. And I was like, oh. And then, of course, there's a whole panel out. I'm like, oh my God, who did this? You can't just look at it anymore.
No, I was driving around with my friend who's in commercial real estate, and I was like, look at that board. And we see how the American Express logo is completely cut off. They just did not size that content right. It's not rendered right. And she's looking at me like I'm crazy, like, why do you care?
But we all do, right?
I feel you.
I have a 16-year-old. I say to him, what do you want to do? He's like, I don't know. I go, why don't you get in the AV industry? All he does is he thinks I sit in front of my computer and talk to people all day long. I'm like, yeah, but you don't see when I go out. Like, there's a lot of jobs that just sit in front of their computer and talk to people all day long. Like, you don't get to see when I'm traveling and actually visiting my customers and things like that. But that's getting them engaged, right? There definitely are going to be those engineering kind of ones that are wanting to build it. But I think more of them want to see the fun part of it and then go, oh yeah, I know I could probably build that.
This would be really great because a lot of us are sitting in front of our computer all day, but I'm working on really cool designs with my sales engineer, Andrew. We're sitting there looking at this really intricate design for a project right now. And that's super interesting to me, especially being so new. I'm like, this is going to look great. And I'm going to have a hand in creating this really great experiential event or experience for someone. So you just have to make it seem like, or not seem like, you have to be able to talk about how fun your job really is when your kiddos only see you just sitting at your laptop having Teams calls all day.
Yeah, right. Also, there's an evolution of interests too, right? So you wouldn't know about these projects that you're working on necessarily. And I know, like, my oldest, who's in the industry, he works for an integrator. And he started way young. He was interested in our industry, but more in the lighting, live events, and staging sort of side of things. And now, I was just talking to him last week, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm learning access control," and he's excited about learning access control.
That's awesome.
It's like, yeah, cool, dude. Yeah.
And there's, like you said, there's so much crossover in different things. And so, and this is what I try to tell people, when I talk to people, and even when I ask the question is, like you said, you are learning an aspect of signage. You are learning an aspect of LED. You are learning an aspect of, content and visibility, right? So you are learning all of this, right? In the AV industry and IT industry, I say is this huge umbrella. You can take what you're learning here, and if you say, at some point in your life, if you want to have a family or you want to relocate or you want to do something, you can go, I learned all of this stuff. I can now transfer this over to a banking institution. I can go to a clothing company, right? Because this, and now you can take this and go completely, quote unquote, outside the industry, but you're still technically in the industry. It's not just the pro AV side. So do you think that understanding that, and again, not that we're saying that you're leaving, but you don't know what's going to happen. I relocated several different times, right? So, 15 years down the road, if you say, I just want to stay put someplace and not travel anymore, do you find the value in saying, oh, I know I can do this outside of because I have this knowledge?
Absolutely. There's a lot of transferable skills, one in sales, that all of the things that we already discussed about the personas and the communication and all of those aspects that can transfer into any industry. Like I came from a separate industry into this new industry, and say if I wanted to, all of the skills that I've learned in this industry are absolutely transferable to another one. Even though most people choose to stay in AV, you're not stuck here. You have the choice to leave, and you absolutely will be successful no matter where you go because of the skills you learn here. People just end up loving it and they just never leave. That's just how it goes.
We just bounce around to different companies.
That's what I see. Everybody's LinkedIn. I'm like, oh, you've been with every company that I've already talked to in your lifetime.
Yeah.
And we've all learned something along the ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's so much you can do after this. And, I am still very young. I'm 25. So there's a lot of opportunity. I'm not married. I don't have kids. I never know where life's going to take me. So I can't say for sure where I'm going to be in 10 years when I'm 35. It's going to be a whole new world. But do I feel like the world is my oyster now? And do I feel like I was totally set up for success in this industry? Absolutely. I could take it wherever.
That's amazing. What advice would you give somebody that is thinking about a career within the audiovisual and IT industry?
It's all about who you know, and it's all about the relationships you can make. Start every conversation or end every conversation with, who are the 3 people that you think I should absolutely know in the industry? And whether they can give you a warm introduction or not, that's your best way to find success. Just stay connected and keep those relationships strong as you can, and continue to nurture them, and be prepared for it to be difficult, and be prepared to be told no, and be prepared to have bad days. Not every day is a good day, but look forward to those really, really good days with those really, really great partners, and just live every moment like it's your last. I know it's very cliche, very cheesy, but really do. Just take it all in, and you're learning every step of the way. I learn something new every day. Don't be put down by the fact that you're coming in with no knowledge. Don't be put down by the fact that you're coming in with no experience. There are so many people that want to pass their knowledge on to you. Find those people, stick with them, and you will be just fine.
Yeah, I want to tag on to that too. If somebody says, hey, these are 3 people you need to know, I can't facilitate those connections, but these are 3 people that would be awesome. Because sometimes that happens, or it'll be just in passing. Hey, you need to meet this person. Go find that person on LinkedIn, get into their inbox, go ahead and request them, and say, hey, so-and-so said that we need to meet. And I guarantee you 10 out of 10, every time they're going to accept the request and they're going to have a conversation with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's maybe been twice where they haven't, but it's very rare. Very, very rare.
I think there's a lot of us in the industry now that I would consider seasoned, that need to listen to this from Jasmine being young in the industry. We need to not forget that. And I think some of us have forgotten that, especially when you've fallen on times where you're unemployed, or you're looking, or you're trying to make a change from, whether it's going from manufacturing to integration or whatever the case may be. You can't just throw that one post out there on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm open to work, and just sit there and not try to engage. You don't have to make it public that you're trying to engage, but on that back end, who are you engaging with? Who are you talking with? Who are you reaching out to? Yeah, it's very important.
Especially because I feel like a lot of the AV jobs, especially for the smaller integrators and the mid-market companies, they're not posted publicly. You have to hear about it from somebody. So talking to as many people, if you're out of work and you're looking for a job, or you're in your job and you're just thinking about something new, just talk to everybody. See what opportunities are out there. There's tons of them that are not being publicly talked about, but they're looking for somebody. And if you have the experience, if you don't have the experience, there's an opportunity for you, and they will find a spot for you somewhere. Just make sure you're keeping those relationships strong, and just reach out to your friends. They're there for you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on the internet. You can find me on LinkedIn, Jasmine Coble. You can find me on blog posts on White City Multimedia's page. You can find me mostly on LinkedIn and email. My email, I can list it somewhere. Reach out to me anytime. I'm always open for a conversation.
Awesome. Yep. It'll be linked in the show notes as well. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes, thank you, Jasmine. And from AV Career Masterminds, we are so excited to see a young female coming into the industry, absolutely loving it and giving such amazing advice to all of us that are in the industry, whether new, trying to come in, seasoned. And guys, remember, we are all more than words.
The network for the AV industry. What are you listening to?
This
This is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.